Hey everybody, it's Shadowstar and Crystal here to review the penultimate episode of Season 1 of Arrow.
That's a word no one uses.
Actually, a lot of people use it. Penultimate means like second last or about near the end or something like that. In fact, the second last episode of Season 1 of Doom Patrol is called Penultimate Patrol. But enough about a show we're not watching for a very long time. Let's get on to this episode, which was a very big episode. What a jam-packed episode.
And it leaves so much hanging too.
Yeah.
So many cliffhangers.
There's a lot that happens in this episode, and I forgot which stuff happens in this episode and what happens in the next. Like I said, these episodes blur together.
Yeah, but before the cliffhangers, one of my favourite parts was their little undercover mission. Somehow Diggle got to be a security guy, and somehow they got a big belly burger uniform for Felicity. And luckily, Oliver had an excuse to talk to Tommy. So that worked out nicely.
Yeah, but backtracking, we'll start with the world is once again getting ready for the Dark Archer. He's back again. And that's about the only time we'll see him again.
Yeah, he had to get rid of all evidence that the people made the device for him.
Yeah, which is kind of just... The problem with getting rid of evidence is that you've got two problems. You can leave evidence, which is a problem, but getting rid of evidence in itself is evidence.
Yeah.
Because if you, as the episode shows...
Because there's dead people. They got to be there for a reason.
Exactly. If you show a connect, then people just connect the dots. But, yeah, Oliver's back, and finally, at the end of the episode, Oliver finally learns who the Dark Archer is.
Mm.
But this episode had a lot. It does, and... Let's start with one of the... We had one of the good points. Let's start with one of the bad points. Laurel drama.
Yeah, I didn't care for it this time.
I don't care for it either, but I'm so glad there's only one more episode. I just think, oh, well, God, I just remembered Laurel's one of the worst parts of Season 2. Season 2's great, but Laurel is... Oh, God. And yet people think I'm crazy because I don't like Laurel. Let me know when she gets good, guys, because I don't know.
Yeah,
Because, as you said, he had a meeting with Tommy, and in that meeting, he's like, oh, I can't be with Laurel, you should go be with her. So by the time Tommy goes to be with her, he's with her. Oliver's with her. What a dick.
Laurel, you should have closed your curtains.
That was just the stupidest thing.
Yeah, but backtracking even more, there was, we always say Diggle is always right, and even though he and Oliver weren't arguing about it, but I love how his plan was better. Oliver's plan was to just talk to his mother as himself, but then Diggle decided, no, I'm going to be the hood guy and an interrogator. The first interrogation didn't work because it was just her life on the line. But if somebody threatens her children, then she'll talk.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I was about to get to that too. But yeah, that is another one of the best scenes.
I love that moment where it's like he asks for permission to hit him. He looks and he nods like, yeah it's okay. Go ahead.
Still, I love how they work around that scene because that's the thing. Moira was under no threat the first time. She didn't know that, but she was under no threat. Oliver couldn't do much. Whereas here, she thinks she is under threat. She doesn't know that obviously the arrow isn't going to go all the way, but she doesn't know that.
Yeah, the first time, it was still her life on the line. We know that Oliver wouldn't have killed her, but she doesn't know.
When Oliver did the first interrogation, like in that early episode, he couldn't do much. He couldn't even, usually, think about it, if he'd interrogated anyone else, he'd be like holding against a wall and hitting them and so on, that have arrows in their hands. But he's not going to do that with Moira. She's not had much to fear, whereas here she has. That's why it worked.
Yeah, because there's someone else to hurt.
And just knowing scenes that haven't happened in this episode makes me realize how jam-packed next episode is.
Yeah, there
Holy
was
crap.
so many stuff, like, leading up to the finale. When it comes to the flashbacks...
Yeah, move on to the flashbacks, I was thinking that too.
Yeah, he shot Yao Fei, and then one of them had a knife behind their back.
Yeah, and that doesn't... I forgot about that. because they didn't do anything with that. It just plays off in the next episode. So you really have to remember it. And I know that's the thing. We're thinking, oh, we're going to wait till next episode. How are we going to remember this till tomorrow? But you got to remember, normally this be a week-by-week thing. Most people wouldn't rewatch an episode. It's just, okay, I hope you remembered everything.
Yeah, plus the previously will probably give us everything.
Yeah, I know, but still. But yeah, the flashback, it's the thing. Both not a lot happened and a lot happened. Like, there was only a few scenes, but a lot happened in those few scenes.
Yeah, and then there's the main cliffhanger at the very end.
Well, hang on, let's not get ahead of ourselves. But yeah, okay, so we have a lot to talk about in the flashbacks because, first off, as soon as Oliver's taken, we get a nice reminder because we see the same guy that tried to trick Oliver way back then. So at least we get some reassurance that Oliver did the right thing and he had to trust his gut instincts. But we also learn that Fires is working for somebody.
Yes!
And they give a bit of foreshadowing on who that could be. Somebody that the show hasn't actually introduced yet.
We just know it's a woman who wore high heels.
Yeah, I like how... I wish I could go back in time and know whether people could suspect what character this could be from the comics. Because, they do match... all we know is it's a female in high heels and dark skin. But some people might be able to guess that. It'd be really interesting to... I wish I would have known whether or not people could have guessed that. But, yeah. Wait, do you know who it is?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well, that's the thing. They really take a while to reveal who did that, but I love it. Like I said, I love small little things that take a while to come back. It really rewards you.
Yeah.
But, yeah... that's the thing. Next episode has a lot. Like I said, I really am impressed how much you can jam in 40 minutes.
Yeah, like most people would think about the main cliffhanger, which is...
Before we get to... We're not up to the cliffhanger. Let's save that for the end, because there's not much to talk about. There was a few more. There was a lot of plots. Let's move on to... Now we've got... Roy and Thea had their own plot. Everyone had a plot.
Oh, yeah. She said, if you don't stop this, you're gonna lose me.
Yeah, at first they were trying to track him, and Thea even had a little plot where she had to go on her own side mission of getting information from the police. But then...
She didn't even need to use her CNR,
No, that was just an excuse to get in so she can eavesdrop.
Yeah, then she heard what she needed from just Quentin saying stuff.
But then at the end, they stop being together. Or she says, I won't be with you if you keep going after this.
Yeah.
But it all works out. But speaking of people not being together, we have Walter's finally divorced... Walter has divorced Moira. There's a lot of syllables in that. But yeah, okay, so yeah, we have... They're finally split up, and because obviously Walter could put two and two together.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's, like I said, there's a lot in this episode. And I can't really... Other than the small little Laurel stuff, but like I said, we got that bad stuff out of the way. There's a lot in this episode, and only... The Laurel stuff's the only thing I didn't really like. But there was a small nice little scene when Laurel was talking with Quentin.
I guess so.
Yeah, remember, it was just after Tommy was talking with Quentin.
Yeah, they were talking about how Oliver's changed and that he might actually be okay with it.
I do like that, yeah. It was a small, nice little scene, but I like the fact that Quentin has started to gain some respect for Oliver.
Yeah.
Which is something he holds on to for a while. Actually, he does a lot.
But yeah, most people would focus on the big cliffhanger.
The cliffhanger.
But the thing people might forget after watching this, because it's so jam-packed, is there's another thing that's left us hanging. They found out that Felicity hacked the Merlin thing.
I know, that's a small little thing, and it doesn't come back in this episode. I know it comes back in the next episode, but that's the thing. I remember more of that happening in this. Like I said, they blur together. I thought that happens this episode.
Yeah, I thought they'd come and find her about that.
But no, I'm starting to remember kind of how the scene plays out. But what if that's next time? But like I said, there's a lot. The Felicity stuff...
You think Felicity would be able to make herself untraceable?
How did they know it was Felicity Smoke? She was doing it from... Hang on.
Her iPad thingy has her name registered on it, maybe?
Maybe? I thought it was they tracked her first attempt. But that would track them to the computers in the warehouse, but that would be even worse.
No, I think they tracked,
when she went actually there.
Yeah.
Either way, how would they know Felicity... Why would Felicity not have a code name? We later find out she has a hacker code name.
Yeah, that, like I said, you'd think she could make herself untraceable.
I know! Usually Felicity's a lot better. Oh well. We'll get into the Felicity plot next time, but yeah, I like that finally comes up because it actually leads into something interesting, but we'll get to that next time because there's a lot. But we'll finally end this off with the big cliffhanger.
Yeah. Malcolm knows that it's Oliver.
Now everything's on the table. Oliver, in that instant, finds out he's the Dark Archer all in one.
Wait, how does he know that?
Because Malcolm said something like 9 months ago, I tried to kill you, then you tried to save me. In other words, he, as a Dark Archer, tried to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now they both realize who each other is. And that's it. It ends on Malcolm finding out. Nothing else. Everything's out. It's a big mystery.
Yeah, he just pulls the hood off. That's it.
It's unbelievable. But yeah, this was a jam-packed episode. And you know what? Even though there was one bad point, I'm going to brush that to a side as much as I don't like the Laurel crap because there was so much in this episode.
Yeah.
I love the interrogation scene. The flashbacks are really good and get better next episode. Honestly, Walter is best next season when he's no longer with Moira. You know, we finally get the confrontation with the Dark Archer. I like the Felicity side plot.
I'd go as high as 8.
I'm thinking 8 or 9 as well. I'm giving it an 8.5.
I'll stick with 8.
I don't know if that's the second highest thing I've done with Arrow, but this might
be my highest with Arrow.
I think this is. Would you give it an 8?
Yeah, I'll stick
This
with 8.
might be your highest 8. I wonder if the finale will crack that. Hopefully
maybe.
It does. One thing I will say about Arrow is it, in my view, has the best finales in the Arrowverse.
It's doing a great job of building stuff up, so let's hope the finale lives up
I've
to
always
it.
said this. Even though I prefer some of the other shows, Arrow does the best finales. I like Flash more, I like Legends more, but Arrow does the best finales. My favourite Arrowverse finale is an Arrow finale. Season 2's a great finale. Season 1, we got so much to... Oh, next time is the final Season 1 Arrow episode. Oh boy, we're pretty much done with this season. I can't believe it.
This is amazing. It's gone so fast.
I know!
Feels like yesterday we said, let's do YouTube reviews.
So... before we get on to the finale, I have to say something. At the beginning of these first few reviews, you openly admitted to everyone that Arrow obviously wasn't your favourite. And has you improved now that you've actually had to go through with a fine-tooth comb? How are you feeling about the show? 20 episodes in.
I've enjoyed it, but I still think the other shows are better.
Yeah, but do you think you've definitely gained more of an appreciation for what the show can do?
Yes, I appreciate it more. And I'm not saying it's bad, it's just because the other shows are so good, it's still my least favourite.
Yeah, but honestly, that's the thing, watching these through and having to remember what comes where has really reminded me how good Season 1 is. There's a few hit and misses, but Season 1's a lot better than I remember. It has a slow start, but man, those last few episodes. This episode was amazing. Next time, it's the finale. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time for the last one.